Hello, everyone. This is Jack for the Amazing Scale Modelers Across the Pond Hangout. And it's middle of November. And I got to say, we got a surprise. I think James can relate to it. We got freezing rain, we got snow, we got snarly stuff going on.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny that it shut New York down. And they got nothing compared to what we got. So anyway, where was I with this? Yes, I'm getting ready. In fact, I was just discussing with the guys getting a new computer because I'm on Explorer, and it's not the most fun thing to use when you're doing a Google Hangout. But because it doesn't handle Google Chrome anymore. That's my computer can't do that anymore. So it's time to get a new one. Anyway, long and short of it, this coming weekend, not this one, next one, it's going to be the 48-hour Hangout. Yeah, I want everybody to know it's going to start at Friday, 8 a.m. my time, just like this Hangout is starting at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. This is going to be on a Friday, and it's going to go on for 48 hours. And James and I are going to prove to the world we've got gonads of steel to stay awake. But that doesn't happen. We fall asleep anyway. No, James gets coffee and he comes back 6 hours later. And I just, here, I got a new chair here, a gaming chair. And you know how comfy this thing is? I can just pull this lever and go way back and lay down and fall asleep. So I can do a 48-hour Hangout. So I got one of these. It put me back a lot. Hey, I bought this just for the Hangout. Now, how does this work?
A gaming chair.
With the gaming chair and you laying back, we get 16 hours of looking up your nostrils. Then?
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, but it'll be dark in here too, So only the glow of the screen will be on my face. But anyway, we're going to try to do this and all. And if you follow the channel at all, I went to visit the museum to see the Columbia Command Module from Apollo 11. It was an amazing experience. I was very impressed with the way the Heinz History Center had put it out for the public. It was actually quite educational. There was a lot of things I didn't even know. And unfortunately, George couldn't come with me. But George is on the live Hangout doing his, what do they call a mayor when he does his job?
Mayoring?
Mayoring, yeah. He's mayoring.
Unheard of.
I was going to say rare.
Yeah.
Rare.
George, I would strongly encourage you to go visit. The tickets were $18 for adults to enter into the museum, but the museum also had other things about technology that the city of Pittsburgh had contributed to from colonial days all the way to the 20th century, emphasizing, of course, the steel industry. If you watch the video, you'll see there was a portion of it that I was actually surprised. I don't know why I was surprised at how big of a participation the steel industry performed during the Apollo missions, or in all the other missions that NASA has been doing in those days. Also, there was a section on a beloved Pittsburgher, Mr. Rogers. And if you're ever in Pittsburgh, definitely hang out at that. Do it a whole day. Make it a whole day. We were there just for the Columbia capsule exhibit, and I realized that it would be nice to go back and spend morning to night there and really take a look and see what it is. If you're getting into that historical stuff in museums, that is definitely an amazing place to be. So, yeah, the spacesuit would have been worth it alone. Buck, he's in North Dakota, probably getting used to the winter, and we just got started. But anyway, I don't know if there was a spacesuit there. There was more modern spacesuits with a shuttle. There was also a shuttle display sort of thing going on there too. But as far as a spacesuit that was on the moon, I don't believe I saw that there. No. But as a modeler, it would be worthwhile, particularly if you get into that stuff like Randall and James does. And I'm sure you others would like to, get into real space model building, which, as it turns out, it's one of our community builds. And between now and the end of the year, I'll be assembling videos of the the community covers. I haven't changed the community covers yet because Jamie kept saying, "Where's the link? Where's the link?" And you see he's not here. So I'll be putting together videos of the past year's community covers. This should be interesting. In fact, I'm just not going to share what I had as a community cover, but everything else they had in the album, they being the members of the community. So that's going to be coming up too. I hope to get at least one or two done by the end of the year, because it's a lot of pictures, and I don't want to make 40, 60-minute videos. It'll probably be spits and squirts like every, I don't know, 6-8 minutes, just so that it doesn't, makes it easier to watch that way. 6 inches the last day alone. Yes, Buck, I'm probably talking about snow. Well, yeah, where is Jamie, Phil? So anyway, without further ado, I want to move on, and I'm going to go from my Google left to right, and turns out it's, I just thought about it this morning, it is alphabetical. That's why Randall's always last. So, how you doing, Brian?
Nobody's having this.
How you doing, Brian?
Oh, no audio.
No audio. No audio.
He's speechless.
Can anybody lip read?
Hold up signs, no audio. We can't hear you.
A little gear wheel at the top of the screen. Click on settings and
Make sure your microphone isn't turned on.
Now you had.
Now you muted it. Yeah.
Muted it, yeah.
press it again, Brian. It should come back on.
Snoozing in his gaming chair. That is correct, George. That's why I bought it, so I can snooze while you guys talk.
For that interest.
Oh, you killed him. Where's Brian?
How you doing there, Jim?
I'm not doing too bad. I haven't got a lot done in the last week. I've been out a lot. Had a few trips into Toronto this week for pleasure and a little bit of business. So that, I mean, I've sort of got started on playing, but
Started laying into sideboards, eh?
yeah. Yeah, those two, these two keel boards are probably the most difficult ones to put in. And once they're started, then everything else will start.
What makes those so difficult? I figured those would be easy because you don't have to shape them so much.
Oh no, these have a very, very bad. They have to curve. They got to be twisted almost a 90-degree turn.
Oh wow, okay.
Towards the bow.
Oh yeah, at the front. I'm sorry, at the front. You haven't done that part yet.
No, they haven't been. I've got
Okay, I just looked at what you've done. I was like, that just looks like you glued two straight boards down.
Well, I've just been test fitting and that.
Yeah, I can see now where you have to do it. Yeah,
you do two at once. You do one either side to keep them balanced.
Keep them symmetrical. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm at the stage where I'm going to have to boil some water.
Do you dunk that whole thing in to soften?
No, I only have to basically soak from about this rib forward.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was asking. Do you dunk just the ends down into something to
just the ends? There's no sense in doing the rest of it.
Right.
It's fairly flat.
I didn't know whether the wood would react weirdly if you only did a part of it, though.
Well, you're going to clamp it down anyway, so it's not that bad of a deal. So this has got to come down. You got to shape this down both sides, then clamp it with one of these big paper clips.
Now, do you thin it? Do you thin the wood in the area where you've got to bend it? I mean, just
it'll have to be shaped, but we'll do that after it's
okay. So you don't do that. You don't pre-thin it.
No, it's until you get the curve in it. It'd be almost impossible to pre-shape it
Okay.
when you've got an extreme, such an extreme curve that you have to do to it.
Yeah.
There would be a little bit of shaping on it, not too much on this side, but it might be some on the outer side. But because this is clinker built too, there's a lot of things that are kind of hidden. Oh crap! Well, so there's some things that are kind of hidden. So you don't have to worry about if this was straight side plank construction. Then you'd have to do more shaping. But the fact this is clinker built, then you can cover up a lot of your joints, so it's not a real big issue.
And in the real world, you'd have lots of nails to help you. But in the model, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
Anything equal to that in the smaller scale.
Yeah, because in the real world, they'd be pegged.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen here.
They'd be steamed to soften them down as well, I think, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, they'd steam bend the boards, and then they'd be wooden pegged with dowels into the frame.
When you're soaking the ends, are you worried that you're soaking the framework is going to get too soft as well?
Shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
No, because what you do is you'd soak it and then shape it. I mean, this framework's going to get a little bit wet, but it's not going to be an issue.
Okay. That's stuff I've never done before. It's interesting to find out how you do it.
But you just got to go through all the stages. And like I said, this is the worst ones. Once you get the keel boards done, then the rest is more straightforward. But it's getting these two on is the worst.
And you can't leave those for last. You kind of have to do them first.
Not this style. Not with clinker. Yeah. There's other types. Like if it's stepped boards, you can start at the top, or depending on the size of the hull. For this type of hull, you could if it was step boards, you'd start at the top at the gunnel and work your way down. If it's a big, larger ship, you'd start mid-height at waterline and work down and then up. But it's just different ways of working it. But with clinker, no, you got to start at the keel and work your way up.
Good to know.
Well, James, I broke out my.
Oh, you broke open the kit? Yeah.
I can't see that.
Yeah.
But how about this?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I broke it out and I started cutting some parts off the whatever. Boy, gosh, those parts are delicate. So I stopped doing it, and I'm going to work on it. Guess what? Over the 48-hour hangout.
Yeah, I recommend. What are you going to build first, the wings or a fuselage?
Well, that's what I'll be asking you what to start with, because I don't know. There's a picture here.
Yeah, I'd kind of start with the wing, then go
at that new cable.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to mount that plans down, put some wax paper on it, and then lay your parts out and pin them down on the plans.
Yeah, I got to get what do you call it, corkboard or something.
Corkboard, or even a ceiling tile.
Well, knowing how I am, I'll probably make a mess of the ceiling tile, and I'll have to clean it up.
Well, you only have to use it once for the build, and you can throw it away after you're done.
Yeah, you can get those things fairly dirt cheap.
Oh yeah, you can get them for like $1.50 or something like that. Yeah.
Flip it over on the back, so you're using the back side of it.
And they're like what?
2 by 3 at least.
2 by 3, yeah. So you only need to buy one just to lay it down to lay your plans out on for that.
Well, yeah, I'll be getting that set up for the 48-hour hangout. and other things. So, yeah, you say do the wings first and then kind of decay. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, George says wings are easier. Just I guess you mean, George, wings are easier to start to build with.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like how they have arranged it. I mean, if you look at the instructions, the wings are laid out across the top of the instructions, and then the fuselage down at the bottom. So I figure, reasonably thinking that you start from the top, work your way down.
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at it. But these instructions are certainly not the kind of instructions you would get in a plastic kit.
No.
The one thing I'd recommend, Jack, is a set square.
Set square?
Or a triangle, just an ordinary drawing triangle with a right angle.
Yeah, 90 degree. Well, actually, either a 90-degree triangle. Yeah, so one thing like from a math set that you get for kids for the school type.
It helps a lot.
Yeah.
Just to get the the perpendicular side of things when you're doing stuff, laying it out. It does help a lot.
Mind you, it's not a bad issue when you're laying them out on the plans. It's not a big issue for getting square because you're laying them on top of the plans, so the plans are going
more. It was for the wing ribs, for example. I always found it was an advantage, James. But
yeah, so I don't know with that kit of what dehedral there is to. Then you got when you've got dehedral, then when you start applying it, then you're going to have to raise and lower the wing halves to get the dehedral.
You normally have a flat piece and then the dehedrals at the end rather than a. But
yeah, usually what you do with these is you build the two outward bound sections of the wing.
Yeah.
Then the center section is built as a third module, and then that where you build in your dehedral.
They're joined at the correct angle then, so you can it goes off of them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think that that'll be something, and I'll say more about that later. But first, I'm going to go back to, if that's okay, James, we'll go back to Brian there.
Okay.
Brian?
Oh, no, sorry. Oh, dear.
Speak.
Brian, do you have a pair of phone headphones with a microphone on it? Plug that into the external mic. No. Oh well. If you go to the little gear wheel at the top of your screen to settings, you click on settings, it'll bring up a list of your sound options. If you've chosen the internal microphone, it should work.
I've seen them shift for some unknown reason.
I had that problem for a long time. I had the microphone problem, and I just had to keep hitting the button that says, make sure this application has control of the microphone.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a PC, not a Macintosh. Well, it's more likely to happen with a PC.
Okay. How you doing there, Liam?
I am fine, Jack. Here at the minute, but I've been away for a chunk of the week. We were over in London for something, so again, I haven't got much done. But hopefully, from now on, we're back into sort of the swing of things, if I can. I mentioned before we started the hangout, I'd hoped that Jamie Hood could join us, but unfortunately, he hasn't shown up. Who works for Polar Lights? I was chatting to him all week about the Katinga and the whole difference between US prices and UK suppliers, and he was very understanding, but it's out of their hands. I don't think there's much they can do because the UK distributors won't buy enough kits to directly import them from China. So all the kits go from China to the US. The distribution started out by Polar Lights, and then they send them to the UK. So what costs $85 in the States is ending up costing £129 here, which at the minute is, what would that be, $150? So we're almost paying double.
Mm-hmm.
Someone suggested buying from the States and getting it sent. Postage is $65, so that ends up being $150 to get it sent. When it arrives here, then we got the VAT added to that, and customs duty, and a charge by the post office. So you end up paying almost $200 for the same kit. So it's very frustrating. And the earliest will be in the UK is probably just before Christmas, but they're saying that it may be after Christmas, which is, you know, very, very frustrating, especially when a certain person here is being flashed and has a bike. That's a situation at the minute. I know there've been a couple of YouTube videos already put up of people building them, and the lighting kit, which, you know, Polar Light's reputation for lighting kits isn't fantastic, but the lighting kit actually looks like it's half decent this time, and it's all very structured.
It is very sweet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I kind of lost track. What are we talking about?
The Katinga.
Oh, the Katinga. Yeah.
But it's definitely on my wish list, shall we say.
It's funny you should say that, Liam, because last night I was coming across the communities that were talking about the Katinga, Lou being one of them, and then I started watching Lou's video. Didn't get done because I tried to watch that before setting up for the community for the Hangouts, and I was only able to get 20 minutes in. But long and short of it was all this talk about the Katinga. Well, I saw the Katinga at Wonderfest, and I thought, why is everybody getting their Katinga and I'm not? Because I thought I went to Cult TV Man and put in a pre-order, and I didn't get any notification. And everybody's getting, what is it about me that I'm not getting my Katinga? So I went on to Cult TV Man and onto my account, and I realized it wasn't that I did on pre-order. It was the Kelvin.
Well, that's an arcade.
So guess what I went ahead and did? I bought the Katinga right off the bat, right away.
I know it's been selling really, really well. I think Cult TV Man's out of stock now.
Yeah, I talked to Steve last night. On Fridays we have a regular chat, and he had his busiest weekend, or the busiest week he's had in his career this week. And it was, he said something about they started getting them in, and they started putting out the orders, and they sent three. They had to the mail truck had to make like 3 trips on Tuesday, and then 3 more trips on Wednesday, just of him sending stuff out. He says by Friday they finally got smart, sent bigger trucks. But he's trying to get the pre-orders out as fast as he can. Liam, you froze up.
Sorry, he didn't mention how many he'd sold.
Well, no, I wouldn't expect him to give an exact number, because that's trade secret and all that kind of stuff. But
the reason I'm asking is that the argument for the UK and Europe seems to be that there wouldn't be enough of a large enough order for a direct shipment from China.
Well, I'm curious to know what that threshold would be, because it seems to me that there should be some sort of European distributorship that would send to UK and to Germany and to all of those.
It's a company called Amarang, who I don't want to use bad language on a Hangout, but they to put it bluntly, they extract rather a lot of money compared to what prices elsewhere, and it's just they just seem to have the distributorship shown up. I don't think they do Mobius. Mobius is the one thing they don't seem to be involved with.
Yeah. But they do Polar Lights.
Polar Lights, all the European suppliers, all of the Chinese suppliers.
So you're either paying through them, or else you're getting it on the black market, huh?
Yeah, or I mean, if it was a small kit you could post.
Yeah.
Or ask someone to bring it back in a suitcase if someone's in the States, which I have done before.
Yeah, the box is not that. The box is not that big. It's not as big as the refit box.
Right, but it's still.
It's heavy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's as long when the kit's put together. It's obviously longer because you don't have the big saucer of the refit. That's why the box can be smaller. It's just, I said, I hope Jamie would have been joined us today just to get an insight into the manufacturing side of things. But if the minimum seems to be, the standard container, the shipping container. That's the minimum order.
Oh wow!
Now think how many kits would fit in that. That's the problem.
Yeah, you'd have to gang up quite a few, maybe different kits.
Well, if I could get one for $85, I would buy two of them. There's no question. But the prices we're paying here is just not going to happen. Yeah.
Well, I don't think the Katinga was $85. I think it was listed over 90.
Well, the pre-order price was 85, Jack.
Oh,
right. I think it's 90 something now. Yeah, I mean,
it's a pretty big box.
The recommended price in the UK is £149.95. Thankfully, a lot of dealers are doing a pre-order or some kind of promotion, so it's a little bit cheaper. But I have it pre-ordered. It's 125, I think, isn't it? Jumbly's Randall, I think it is.
Something like that, yeah.
That's your motivation to get that transporter working.
Oh, I know. As Bernie joking, I was talking to Bernie the other night. Bernie jokingly said he would get a flight to the States with 2 large suitcases and come back. They could probably pay for the flight quite easily because by the
yeah. You wouldn't even get out of the airport. You just hey buddy, Katingas.
Yes. I mean, well, I want one. Randall wants one. Phil, I presume, wants one.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one on pre-order.
Everyone I've talked to who's a sci-fi builder wants a Katinga, and that's UK people. So there is a market there, but it'd be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I talk regularly to Jumbly's models. They have a little chat function where you can go in and ask them questions. I would love to know how many pre-orders they have, just out of curiosity, the same reason. But then Amarang, so we have to wait for the stuff that all arrived in the United States has to be all put back in another container.
Yeah.
And then transported to the UK. So that's going to add at least a month on to the process.
I think if I had the wherewithal, I would just get like 2 or 3 pallets in a small pleasure boat and take a cross ocean sail, or across the ocean there, and just park outside of international water.
It's jerk first.
It's not like there used to be a thing in the UK called a booze cruise.
Yeah.
So the idea was you got your van in London or somewhere, and you went across to Calais, and you filled the van up with alcohol, whatever type you wanted, because it was that much cheaper. It paid you to do that. But it's a bit far to go in a van to the United States. But
it's sort of like going up to Canada for your prescription drugs.
Well, there you go. So same idea exactly. So if any of you are planning to fly to the UK or Europe, let us know, because you may be a way of paying for it.
Well, yeah, I would take 3 or 4 cases and no clothes or anything. Just load it all up, because I could make the money to buy anything I needed once I got there.
Hey, that's the thing. There you go. There's an option for someone. But I'm looking forward to seeing the rest. I didn't get a chance to watch your video yet, but I must be able to look at the video to see what you think.
Just make sure they're sturdy cases, because baggage handlers at airports, not the most gentle of souls.
Dirk had joined the top chats, and he says the last few times he pre-ordered from Cult TV Man, his stuff came in a few weeks after the release date. Seemed hardly worth the effort of pre-ordering. And he says he understands the logistics of shipping many kits, but it's a bit disappointing. I don't know if anybody has experienced that so far. It seems like within the release date, Steve has been able to do that within a week. I think that's reasonable.
And honestly, how many people build it as soon as they get it?
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true.
That's not the point. It has to be here. I want it now.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of what you're doing with pre-ordering is just assuring your place.
Yeah,
we'll get one. It's not. It's like reserving a kit. It's not saying you're going to get it day one. It's impossible for you to have it on release date, because the release date is the date he gets it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there's another thing to that too. Is I ordered it last night, and it indicated I'll get it just before. I think that by the 20th or 21st, that's Tuesday or Wednesday, is what it said. But not will I be disappointed if it makes it? No, I would not be disappointed, because you're right. I won't be building it right away.
Right.
George even asked, how much would it cost to ship a Katinga to England through the post office? And I told him it's been my experience, it's dependent upon the Dirk says, I want it day one, damn it. So dark. Anyway, it's been my experience when I shipped the TOS to Jamie. I couldn't find a box. You want to get a box that's really snug to the model box, but
Right.
mine wasn't quite snug. It was bigger than it might have should have been, and I think it was about $65 to ship. But if you're smart enough, you can probably get it down to about 40 to 60, is what I told him. But the problem is, George, that's not highway robbery. What is highway robbery is when it gets over there, these poor folks have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah. So it's basically there's
we pay the tax on not only the value of the model itself, but also the cost of the shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Even the cost
already
of
They slap 21% of the tax on the value of the model and the shipping.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, Randall, Liam. I started talking to, I even forgot his name, Matt. I've been talking to Matt about making plans to take a airplane ride over across the pond there soon. And I kind of did some feelers about what it would cost to do that. So I'm actually planning that in the next 18 months, I hope, to be able to fly over there. So put your orders in early.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, you want them to pre-order?
Because what will happen, and I'm sure this is going to happen, I'm going to take a suitcase over, nothing but kits in it, and that same suitcase is going to return with nothing but kits in it. So that's really the story in England. It's in the UK. I don't know how you do this hobby. And I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I am.
It just cost us more.
Jack.
Sorry, Bernie.
So we take second
Hi,
job.
Bernie.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jack. Hi.
I've already.
Second job to pay for their loving costs. We have second job to pay for our model. So.
Right, I'll probably go over with one Katinga, and I'll see a bunch of Brits duking it out. That'll be interesting.
You just sit it in the middle of Wembley Field.
Baseball. Wembley Field.
Wembley Stadium. Put it in the middle of Wembley Stadium.
Exactly. If you are planning, Jack, chat to all of us for advice or anything else, or whatever it may be. You can rely on our joint wisdom. Hopefully, that for planning anything for a visit.
I think Liam and I are about the same size. I'll trade you, Liam, one of your very beautiful costumes, and send you over a model.
What would you want?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just kidding with you.
Oh well, there you go. You offer like someone else is after a particular kit, and I'm talking to him about swapping for something, but I won't say who it is, but he's not here.
Same thing, Lou, you have a TOS captain's chair, a TOS uniform.
Well, that would be the first choice. I've also got the TOS captain's gut. So,
can I ask? Are you a 46?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm an extra large, if that helps.
I'll chat to you separately then, Lou. There you go.
Okay.
I happen to have two.
Ooh.
So,
Okay. Well, on to modeling business.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Well, we have been talking about modeling business. Just
So that's that. The only other thing that happened to me this week is, that person. Stop it.
Well, it's can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. George said, and they wonder why we had a revolution. You're right, George.
Yeah.
But we weren't throwing models in the bay.
Well, we were throwing tea bags in the bay. That tells you something. Anyway, how you doing there, Lou? Pray tell, why fiberglass and not epoxy?
It's epoxy fiberglass. It's reinforced.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it is epoxy.
Yeah,
But
it's
why
epoxy with
did-
the fiberglass reinforcing.
Yeah, but if you were using like I don't know, 5-minute epoxy, would it smell so bad?
Oh God, yes.
Well,
The,
wait a
uh,
minute.
well,
I use 5-minute epoxy all the time, and it doesn't smell
No.
hardly at all.
I'm sorry, Jack. Not the 2-part not that 5-minute epoxy. No, this is the automotive stuff.
Oh, why'd you do that?
Well, it's stronger. It gives a longer lasting bond. You can soak the fiberglass in it and then drape the fiberglass the way you want it. It's got a longer cure time.
They do make low order. They do make low
For that
order.
amount. What was that, Jim?
They do make low order
Yeah.
fiberglass.
I'm basically
Resin.
stone knives and bearskin. What I can pick up at Walmart or an auto parts store. That's the options I have.
It also dries clearer too than the 2-part epoxy, doesn't it?
Yeah, that stuff can yellow. I mean, look at your tube on the wall, and I'll guarantee you the epoxy is yellow. The hardener is okay, but the epoxy itself is yellow.
Yeah.
Well, if you're all wondering what we're talking about, watch Lou's video. He posted on Google Plus. Did you post it on MeWe yet?
I'm not on the MeWe yet. Maybe
You're not on the
this
MeWe
week.
yet.
Maybe
Okay.
this week.
If you're on a Google Plus, he posts every Saturday morning or late
Friday night. Actually, it goes up Friday night at around 10.
Oh, okay. So it's later Friday night. So, okay. Yeah, I was watching. I got halfway through it. It's a little bit of a long one this time, but very interesting nonetheless. You got the lighting set, you've got the armature set, and you were now adhering the armature inside the kit.
Yeah.
Inside, and we're talking about using the fiberglass. But I don't know if I would have gone that far. That's what I find so curious. You're using that automotive stuff and not just flat out epoxy. I
started with like 1-minute epoxy to like tack weld it in place so that it wouldn't move around while I did the other stuff, and then I actually used some of the 2-part putty epoxy, and I kind of jammed that under the frame to kind of take up some of the gaps between where it didn't lay flat with the with the fiberglass cast piece. There were going to be gaps and stuff, so I filled those all in to make a good solid connection, and then I draped it down over top of the pipe with fiberglass
to lock it in. Yeah,
that's like really really a lot.
It is a lot. It may be overkill, but I don't want the thing in 10 years falling apart on me.
Well, what I found out works for me is that epoxy putty. What I use it on is to fasten the armature in the model when you stick the stand up in it, and that inside the model. And I started using the epoxy putty, but I noticed that epoxy putty sometimes doesn't adhere as well and it comes loose. So what I do is once it sets, or it doesn't even have to set, I cover it with the fluid, the 5-minute epoxy.
Yeah.
And when that sets up, that is hard as a rock.
That's basically what I did. I just added the sheets of fiberglass on top of that.
Oh, okay.
Impregnated with the resin, or impregnated with the epoxy, just so that I could cover this, because the whole thing is we've got the metal frame here, and then we've got this huge weight hanging off the bottom of it, and that's why I wanted to make sure that it was joined really well. I mean, if I could have put screws into it, I would.
Right. Well, George says I must have stunk up the high heaven pretty much.
Yeah, I had to vent out the house, but I was really glad to have that respirator. That was an amazing piece of equipment there.
Yeah. Well, you demonstrated it, and I'm like, come on, Lou, come on, Lou, come on, Lou, and you finally said it.
Yes, I had to. You have to.
Yeah, of course you had to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
the other guys, you know what I'm talking about? He had the mask on. He had to say something. You know what he had to say?
I have to say, no, I am your father.
Yeah. Come on, I think everybody here knew what he would have had to have said. When you're wearing a mask, you got to say that. Yeah, you mentioned too, there were parts of and I know what you meant, the top half and the bottom half of the saucer meet up with each other as opposed to meeting up with each other at the edge.
Yeah.
So you've got like a whole borderline. There's a thickness to. How thick is that? Is that a pretty thick resin there?
Yeah, out towards the edge, the top and the bottom actually touch. It's not like an empty shell where it only touches at the outside rim. The top and the bottom touch all the way in from maybe a half to 3/4 of an inch. So it's quite beefy. I haven't put it on a scale, but it's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's probably going to weigh at least 5 pounds when you're done, if not more.
More than closer to 10.
No kidding. Wow. Well, that is a pretty large. That's a 1,000 scale, correct?
The 1,000 scale, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty big. I only seen a 350 once, and it was only one video. They were in the middle of work on it. It was in their garage. It was that big. It was big as a small car.
I had this lovely music cue all set up, and I don't know if it's going to work. Here it is.
It's missing a bit.
Okay, that was my fun for the day. Sorry.
There you
Look at Liam's face.
Well, you know what? The Brits can kill with a look, you know? Or at least you'll wither from a look. Anyway.
But that was my week.
You got the better part of this, Liam. You've got the costume, that fantastic costume that you've made for Trelane, I think it is.
If an example for Louis was just 2 seconds about
I was amazed, Liam, seeing the Trelane costume. How much better he would have looked if he had white hair.
I know. That's
No, I was serious. I mean, I would have liked to have seen Trelane with white hair. I think he would have looked more dignified.
It worked okay for me. The color's all wrong, but that's what I'm on about, Louis. So okay, there you go. A quick preview, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, you can probably get your hair dyed, but stop at the surgery part.
Yeah.
What are you doing there, Phil?
Hello. Doing okay? I suppose you want me to say something now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't done any modelling this week, but I've been recovering from Telford, which was last weekend. So
you sort of say it as a Telford. Sorry, Telford.
Yeah. It was great. It was really good actually, but very tiring. And I've been left with many extra aches and pains. I want to show you this because my youngest son, he actually completed a model and he had it on a club table.
Oh,
His first fully completed model.
Oh, nice one.
Weathered.
Nice.
And he did all the work on it. I just offered hints and tips of how to do it. He is 25. He's 25.
All right.
Yes,
12.
No, he's no, but he's
you're grubby on it.
No. And so this is actually in our in my display cabinet downstairs as well, because I think it's so good. So very nice restrained weathering on it. So
yeah. Well, when you consider those things should have been basically new.
Yeah. You sort of keep it
that much.
you see them and they're weathered to death, and I was thinking, yeah, no, most of them just came almost straight out of the transport.
Right.
Yeah.
And even at the end of the battle, they were either completely destroyed or
still reasonably clean. Yeah. I had my.
That's assuming that was their first use.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
I've also had these on the table there at the show. They're now weathered up. Don't know if you can see the weathering on there.
Yeah.
So I was really pleased with how they came out.
Hope they fixed the motivator in that red one.
I still maintain
he doesn't think you're going anyway.
R2 screwed him off remotely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's.
And
yeah.
Of course, there was.
I love the way he did that mount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that looks really. That's nice.
And that was there on the table, and there's the underside.
Nice.
Now, when you display that on the table, did you hang it on a vertical surface or did you sit it down on the table?
It was actually tilted up at an angle so that when people were at a certain distance from the table and looking straight at it, you had the.
So if people were taking pictures of it, they were taking head-on pictures then.
Yeah. Well, they could obviously look from other angles, but there was there's a sort of a sweet spot angle to view it at its best. And I did make some purchases, as you do, at the show.
I was chatting to Wayne last night. He said he saw you.
Well, you got the hawk.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I met it with Wayne, and Mark Dunwell was there as well. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to spend as much time as I'd have liked with them, but.
I thought you were going to say you weren't able to spend as much money.
Yeah.
Well, you never can.
There's one thing. Hang on, bear with me a sec. I didn't realise I'd left stuff off of it. Yes. Yeah. Well, you never have the money that you want. I did get that.
Very good.
It's a pretty box.
Mm-hmm. So, yep, it's my first 350 scale Enterprise.
Okay.
Refit.
What kind of price it was at the show?
130.
Yeah, that's the average now.
Yeah, but you saved all that shipping charge.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've seen them online for a lot more, so I thought, no, it's probably getting a good deal. So I hadn't seen them for that price online. And I managed to pick one of these up as well.
Oh, very good.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, the Pan Am Clipper. Yeah.
The only thing I wasn't able to get with the Pan Am decals for it. So
Decal set. Yeah.
Kind of have those under the table.
Welcome to scan the ones I have that Jack sent me.
You got to get those under the table from the guy named Vinny.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to scan
that probably wouldn't cost anything to mail to the UK because it's about the size of a matchbook.
Yeah.
It's,
it would slip under the radar as far as the tax is concerned.
Well, it's not even worth anything. And
No,
I think it sells it for like $4 or $5.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. You could do a first class Forever International stamp for $1. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the international is $1.35 though. Not that it really matters either way because it's still going to be cheap.
No, I picked up a bunch of Forever stamps, International Forever stamps. They're only $1 a piece.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have a whole bunch myself. I thought they were $1.35, but I guess I'm wrong.
They might.
I just buy them. I just buy things without knowing what the price is.
Yeah.
They are very small, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Contraband.
Uh-oh. You moved your head and the evil panda reared its ugly head. George is saying the evil panda will bury him one day. That is true.
No, the models will fall over and bury him long before that.
Wow, who's going to push the models over to do that but the evil panda?
That's true.
Well, is he in the right place to push him over?
Yeah.
But, you know,
Words like
I can
that.
think of worse ways of dying, you know?
So yeah, I'll
Carwin joined us on the top chat too. If that stack falls over, we'll never see Phil again. No, we will. We'll just see him from the neck up, sort of like
Trouble with trouble.
we'll say, help me, help me.
Bill. We'll call him
Can somebody dig me out?
We'll call him Landfill after that.
Oh, man.
Ooh, I'm sure Randall liked that.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Oh gosh, and George said something very interesting too. He was talking about Telford, and he was saying he was hoping that he said there must have been a lot of pubs in Telford. That's why you're looking so haggard there, Phil. And then he said it would be a dry shire if I went, just my luck. A dry shire. That's pretty funny. And well, I don't know if you're American. I think that's funnier than if you're British, I guess. But I said, knowing the Brits, I doubt there is such a thing as a dry shire.
No such thing.
No such thing. Nope.
Well, there are counties here in the U.S. I think there's a couple in Pennsylvania that are dry. So there's no such thing as in England, huh?
No.
Oh no.
No.
Well, see, George? They'll probably hide the booze if you do show up because they want to keep some for themselves. Yes, I would think so.
Yeah, but the sad fact is over there it's all warm.
Well, something has to be warm. The weather surely isn't.
Cold stuff as well, Lee.
You have the cold stuff there.
We like
Cold stuff, yeah. The American invasion, otherwise known as World War II, settled that.
Yeah.
Well, if you do come over here, you have to try Doom Bar.
A what?
What is
Doom Bar.
Pale ale bar.
Pale ale bar?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Pale ale has become something. It was an American idea, the microbreweries and so on, but I think it's gone crazy here in the UK. So
I think I will be right at home then. I'd say.
I like a good pale ale.
And what does this have to do with scale modeling? I think everything, quite frankly.
I think of it as modeled making lubricant myself.
Started talking about dry shires, or no, it was George that was doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. George was saying it. Yeah, I'd have to yet to meet George. I think George will be a fun afternoon hanging out with George. I'm afraid he might put me under the table. But anyway,
George, get a camera and join us.
No, he says he doesn't drink like he used to. No thanks. Give him a Guinness. Yeah. I think there's probably better things in England than the Guinness. So,
well, the best Guinness isn't in England; it's in Ireland. But that's another story.
Yeah, when you only have time for, you don't have time for a meal and a beer, but you only have time for one. Get a Guinness.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, it's. I'd also say to y'all watching, we're going to have that 48-hour hangout, which means there'll probably not only competitive scale modeling being done, maybe even some competitive boozing, I guess.
48 hours all over.
Almost like the last time, yeah.
Yeah, what was interesting to watch was Heath being drunk. He's a big guy, and when he gets drunk, he does toss his weight around a little bit. I felt it all the way from Australia. Yes. Is that everything there, Phil? I'm sorry to divert.
No. I think. Well, there was one thing I wanted to share with you. These little. I bought a bunch of these, which are resin pilot figures seated in 72nd scale. These two are in 48 scale because you can see them a bit better.
Pick them up.
You hold them a bit higher, Phil?
Higher. There you go.
Helps if I hold them up in the right way.
Are they
Those are the.
pre-painted, or is that just an artist's illustration?
No. That's just the illustration on the front. No, that's the. You see that?
The lump of resin.
They're just resin. Yeah, basically. And I bought a bunch of those. That's from PJ
Are they arms?
Productions in Belgium. The arms are separate.
Oh, good. That means
So
you can
they're
actually
closable.
holding something there.
Oh yeah. So I did buy a few of those because obviously a lot of the kits, even the Airfix now, aren't putting pilot figures in with their aircraft. So
George is just asking who the manufacturer is, Phil. If you could hold up.
That's you say that PJ Productions. They're a Belgian
PJ
manufacturer.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think you can get them on the internet. With the second scale ones, you get 2 figures.
Standing? No.
So yeah.
There you go.
Obviously, I couldn't afford to get enough for all of mine, but at least I got enough to be going on with until next year.
That's only a month ago.
I don't know if the discount to Telford is always pretty good, but I know at the minute there's a couple of mod companies in the UK who are doing like a Black Friday 10% off offer. In case anyone wants to buy anything, there's a particular one which I'll just show quickly. Sorry, bear with me. From now until Friday coming, so let me switch across. It's e-model. So sale 10. If anyone in the UK wants to order, it's save 10% off until the 23rd.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Oh, let me get a key on that. My processor is getting overwhelmed. I don't know if that's showing to the audience, but I have your.
I could see.
I'm just seeing icons at this point.
Right.
It is showing up okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe they shipped to the US though.
No, but again, you're back to. But it's just for your UK, European.
That's for y'all.
That's
Well, for us colonials to buy it, we're going to have to pay the tax. So.
Yeah. Have we gone on about how much things cost to import?
You don't pay tax. I assume you don't pay tax. There's no charges at all in the month, despite you can buy anything and there's no charges.
No, the only time they'll charge us tax is if the online shop also has a brick and mortar store in our state. Right, then you pay tax.
I would say if you're outside the US, it doesn't apply.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That would make a lot of sense. Here in Pennsylvania, they're trying to tax everything off the internet now. And I think that makes sense. If they have a brick and mortar here, they should be taxed. I think that's reasonable. But to buy something from, say, the UK, how the hell would you tax that? But then again, we'll probably take the UK model for that, probably. So, hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that everything there, Phil?
I think that's it. I think, yeah.
All right, then. How you doing there, Randall?
I'm not too bad. Not too bad. But like Liam and Phil, I've been too busy gallivanting around to do any modelling recently. But I have had
celebrating his wife's 60th birthday. He was doing something useful.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. I took my wife to Edinburgh for her 60th birthday, and that was Wednesday. But on Thursday, we went separate ways, did our own thing. So I went to a model shop, as you do. I flew over, so I was kind of limited to what I could carry back. So I got a couple of small items.
Literally small items.
Yeah, very small. Yeah, and
did that say 61 parts?
Yep, 61 parts in the Corsair.
I assume that has a decal set for the finish.
Oh yeah, it does. Bear with me, I'll just
because painting all those squares would be nuts.
You know, the checkerboard does have a decal set that goes that you use for it. If I can get it out of the box without.
Randall's going to paint them yellow anyway.
Right.
So it'll be a bit like wallpapering.
Yeah, wallpaper.
Think of it as like the Aztecing decals. Sorry, Lou, didn't mean to swear. Only for a biplane and a small one at that.
Yeah. Guess the thing is making sure that it's on square.
Hmm.
And it's not, at a weird angle. If the checks don't go on at an angle.
Yeah, I would need to start with, I think. The one that's right in front of my finger on the sheet.
Yeah.
That wraps around the top, and it has the holes in it for the cockpit.
That's probably going to be the worst one to put on. Yeah.
It's got all the different contours to wrap around.
Yeah. But it'll be the one that will set the tone for the position for the rest of them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming that those are backed in white, so you would paint the whole plain white first?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There'll be some parts of it will be different colors. Airfix rather nicely produce full colored decal diagrams these days for their kits. So.
Okay, so the wings, figures the wings, which would be the easiest part to do, are the ones that don't have that.
Yeah, the tail planes have the checkerboards, but the wings are the standard Royal Flying colors, Royal Flying Corps colors.
Yeah. Painted with camouflage. What is that supposed to be the camouflage of?
It wasn't really camouflage as such. It was intended to be a high visibility because it was a training squadron.
Okay, so it's sort of like crash test dummies with all of the registration marks all over them.
Yeah, pretty much. It was based at Turnhouse Aerodrome in Edinburgh. So it was I actually flew out of the airport that I flew out of from Edinburgh to get back home. Was the same airfield that this airplane flew from in World War I. So a bit of a connection there. There is two schemes. This is the second scheme.
It's a good big choice for a 1/72 scale kit.
Yeah.
World War I at that. So
the rigging though will be a bit of fun because British World War I airplanes were like a cat's cradle of rigging.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Don't build the airplane sturdy enough to hang together itself. Just tie it all together.
And at that scale, it'll be fun.
It is, yeah. It'll be like the little de Havilland tiger moth that I did last month. Maybe even more intense, if anything.
Yeah, you seem to be getting hooked by biplanes at the minute.
Yep. That's the rigging diagram.
Oh, it comes with the rigging diagram as well. Oh, that's a big advance for Airfix.
Oh yeah.
Of course, the one thing that no one's mentioned about Telford is the new Airfix kit that was announced.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe James would be interested. I know Lou probably wouldn't be as interested in it, but it's a 1/24 scale. Hellcat, isn't it Hellcat?
Yeah,
it's a Hellcat.
The Hellcat?
Yeah.
F6 Hellcat, yeah.
It's the most advanced kit Airfix have ever made.
It's gorgeous.
But it's £120 in the UK. But it when you see what's in it, it's value for money.
Yes, it's
really,
worth all that money.
Yeah. But that's Airfix. They're a different entity now, Airfix, from what they used to be. So
From the images seen from Telford, the one that was interesting for me was the Wingnut Wings Lancaster.
yeah, four cross or whatever.
Lancaster.
32nd scale Lancaster.
They're selling the
second 32 scale Lancaster that's available. There's another one by was it HK?
HK, yeah, Hong Kong models.
But the Wingnut one's a lot more expensive, I think.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that Peter Jackson's into aircraft so much.
Hmm.
I don't know if anyone realizes the ones who don't.
Well, even if they're just bringing out that cockpit, the nose section model for the Lancaster, that'd be an interesting build on its own.
Yeah,
Peter Jackson does have an interesting World War I aircraft. That hence the Wingnut Wings air models have all concentrated until now in World War I.
Yeah.
But recently he was into doing a remake of the Dam Busters.
Yeah.
So presumably for the CGI Lancasters he might have been using in the movie. He had a lot of documented details and stuff like that on the Lancaster. So they have now decided to put that into a kit. So whether it's good, I think it's going to be an awful lot more detailed, I think, than even the H&K version.
Yeah. If it's anything like the Wingnut Wings World War I kits, if it's anything like that, it'll be. But then, £400 or something was getting bandied about as a price.
That was the price that I heard. Yeah, about £400. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
You need to be really into your Lancasters to
and have a couple of years spare.
Oh yeah. Oh that sort of thing. You'd have to treat, like the engine as a separate kit. Treat the interior detail as a separate kit, and somewhere along the line bring it all together.
Are we back in action, Jack? Are we okay?
I am. I don't know. I just needed to pause and wait for the processor to catch up. Yeah, I mean this is a pain in the butt. Trust me, it's gone on for 3 shows now, and
your picture froze in the worst possible position it could have when you said that. You could see your tonsils. So
really.
There you go. And Brian,
one of the things I've been working on recently is oddly enough another World War I biplane, but in a bigger scale, thankfully, and it's this here, which will be the SE-5A biplane. I've already started working on putting some of the interior detail. I don't know if you hang on.
How long have you got now? 5 weeks?
About 5 weeks, I think, to get from this to a completed model.
So would be happy with that.
The biggest fun will be when it comes to putting this all together, putting the struts, the wings together. This isn't a Wingnut Wings kit. This is one of the older Rodin kits, and the location points aren't as positive for the struts as the Wingnut Wings kit would be. The only reason I went for the Rodin one was because the markings out to produce it were there was two different engine types on SE-5As. One was a Wolseley Viper, which is this one, which was a direct transmission from the engine to the propeller. The other one, which Wingnut Wings did, was the Hispano Souza, which had a geared transmission between the engine and the propeller. So there was that difference. So I had to go with the Wolseley Viper, which is the Rodin one. As I say, Rodin don't do or didn't do multiple locations really for the struts. Here, a few years ago, I got myself this contraption,
All right.
which will be a jig. It'll hold everything together. So I'll have it's not quite lined up yet, but
Interesting.
Yeah, they are. They are. Is that one of the ones from the Czech company?
yeah, it is. It's let's see.
I could see a whole industry in there and keeping you're using it to keep nacelles level.
JH Models make the kit. It's wood.
Oh, wow.
It's like a dry dock.
Pretty much. Set everything up with the fuselage and lower wing, and then you take the upper wing and put it on like that. Everything's adjustable, angles, heights. So it's a bit too far for at the minute, like. But when near the time, I'll be setting everything on the lower, and then I'll be adjusting the upper until everything's the right height. So it'll hold everything together until the glue dries, hopefully. Then the real fun part starts, and that'll be the rigging. Again. But because it's 32 scale, the rigging will have to be a bit more thin scale, as it were, with turnbuckles and tensioners and stuff like that. All that lovely stuff. That'll be fun. Turnbuckles will be made from tiny tube, brass tube, cut into like 1.5 millimeter lengths. I can't even hold that steady enough to.
I thought they were using that invisible material. I couldn't see what you were holding up. There, you see it. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Threading that with easy line, this stuff here.
Time I did mine, Randall, I used Q-tips, but Q-tips that days were plastic, so you could stretch them.
Oh yeah.
Because it was a tube, you could stretch the tube and end up with similar idea, and that's why I did the ones on my the Spad, which I did. So because I couldn't get the brass tubing thin enough, I just couldn't get it locally anywhere, so I went with that method.
The tubing I got was 0.3 millimeter.
Right, with Brian joining us twice. Maybe turn your stuff up, Brian, on one of the.
Yeah, so somebody's making us echo. Oh,
Good job, man. Oh, Alvin alloy stuff. Yeah. How do you cut it?
with an old scalpel blade.
Oh, so fine it would work. Yeah, yeah.
So it's almost like you set it down on a cutting mat and
roll it.
Just roll it, and it cuts it quite nicely. It
tiny tube cutter.
And then maybe just the point of the scalpel to remount the cut end of the tube.
I would say, how do you keep it from crushing? Do you round it back out?
No, it's quite sturdy as regards that. It doesn't actually crush as such.
You don't cut straight down on it. You put the blade on the top of it and roll
roll
the blade across it,
Yeah.
and then
That makes sense. That makes sense.
slices through it nicely.
So that'll be more fun. And I'd say probably making the turnbuckles and the stuff like that will be saved for the 48-hour hangout.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Carwin says he hasn't been able to get to sleep, so I hope you get a little bit of sleep, but you'd be okay, Carwin. Not to poke fun of your misery, but you'd be up for the 48 hours.
Yeah, you're looking for somebody to anchor it, like, so there's Carwin, he can do it.
Right. No, we'll see how that all turns out. 48. It's our sixth one this year. The sixth one. We're on the sixth year of this community. So I don't know. The first 3-4 years it was pretty intense. What are you showing us there, Mister?
This is one of the struts which have made an attempt at doing a wood grain on it. But it's kind of hard to. It's hard to show off here, really.
That's working.
Yeah.
A bit better, slightly better job of it inside the thing here, so you can just about see.
That still looked great inside.
Yeah.
It does.
Makes you realize how flimsy those things were when they were built.
Yeah. No such thing as armor plating or anything like that. You were just separated from. Well, your head was still, sticking out from the cockpit, but everything else was only separated from the elements by stretched linen.
Yeah.
And
A little more than a flying gas tank.
pretty much, yeah.
John Hunt, thank you for joining us. I'm watching while on the treadmill at the gym. Seeing all these Adonises is keeping me motivated. Smiley face. I tease because I care.
That hurt.
Yeah, it's hard. Bobbles again. That's what it is.
Yeah, I know. To be called an Adonis, I thought it was more like Zeus.
Cautionary tales I would take. Didn't have to make it mean.
Yeah. This is the beginnings of the instrument panel.
Wow.
Ah.
Oh, wow. That's tiny work there, mister.
Yep. Thankfully, there's a company called Part, another East European company, made photo etch for this kit. So that'll help a bit with the instrument panel. Actually, they wanted me to do the whole interior of the thing with photo etch, but way too flimsy. And of course, you folded up it was almost like a cage for the fuselage. You folded it all up, got it all joined together, and it wouldn't fit in the kit. So I used bits and pieces of it inside for it, and been left over with things like this here, which was supposed to be the engine bearer.
Okay.
I just went with the kit pieces and then added my own tensioning cables between the supports.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it, where it stands for me. Next.
Right, I'm just having a conversation with Carl, and the poor guy, he can't get to sleep. Everybody keeps waking him up. I don't know. I guess when we started this hangout, it probably dinged on his phone and he had to tune in. So, moving on. Bernie, I haven't seen you in a bit of time. You're looking good there, mister.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been pretty hectic around here, but unfortunately not from a modelling point of view. It's more a house remodel, I suppose. Hence the mess behind me. I think most of the contents of the house are in this room at the moment.
I see a slow descent into madness behind you, Bernie.
I wouldn't call it slow.
It was so clean once upon a time.
Yeah, do you remember that? It was about 3 weeks before last time I was on you, wasn't it? Yeah. It's
when it gets to the level of your top shelf, then it's time to seek help.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's actually gone beyond the top shelf. I'm not even going to show what's beyond it. It's all sorts of stuff. I can't understand why you can empty one room of stuff so that you can actually go in and refurbish it, and then when you kind of put stuff back in, it's multiplied.
It's a conspiracy.
It's a bit like whenever you get a new kit and you take out all the bits and pieces to look at the
you can't put it back in the box.
and you seem to fit it all back in the box again. Isn't that right, Louis, with your Katinga? Yeah?
That's actually going back in okay, but yeah, I know exactly what you could have, one sprue, and as soon as you take all the pieces off it, the box just shrinks.
Taking all the sprue material out.
Yeah, that's your guarantee. Once you throw away the box, you're committed to building the kit.
Yeah.
Like a reverse TARDIS, it's actually smaller on the inside.
It's actually smaller. They pack it that way because they're packed by packing geniuses over in Asia, and you can never recreate that when you open it up.
No, I'm sure you're right. They must employ people just to design how these bits can fit within each other.
And Randall, I will tell you that discovery right behind you. When you open up that box, be prepared to start building because you will never get that box closed again.
You're right. It is actually. It looks closed, but when you look at the box, it's kind of bulged.
It's raised up. You discovered that, huh?
Whatever you do, cut through that cellophane. It'll be like a Jack-in-a-Box effect.
Yeah. All the air just sucks in. I think they vacuum out the air when they put the cellophane on.
It'd be nice if it popped out with the spine all built, but no. It's...
You'll be searching for months under the bench for that last piece. Sure, you saw come out.
Yeah.
This one keeps doing the same thing. It won't sit flat now.
No,
because I made the mistake of looking at it.
Oh yeah, that kit.
You almost have to open it up, quick take a picture of it, and then see how you can pack it back to match.
Yeah, so take pictures of it as you unpack it layer by layer.
Yeah. No, I'm afraid I didn't think that far ahead, so no, it's too late for me.
You'll have to build it now.
I've got to build it now.
You try that. You open the box, you take a photograph, and then try and get the lid back on it again. You can't even use the original photograph to see which way the sprues went in.
No.
Because it just defies all logic.
Oh, well, back to the disaster behind Bernie. So,
well, I'd rather not go back to the disaster. I'm hoping that during the Christmas holiday period, I should be able to get it sorted out. In fact, I'm hoping that I'm going to have to get it sorted out because I've had a few phone calls and emails recently asking me about some electronic kits. One, in fact, that I'd promised about 6 months ago, and the guy said, "There's no rush," and he sort of emailed me recently saying, I said there wasn't any rush.
Now there's a rush. Yeah.
Well, it's still not a rush, but I'd like to be sure that you've actually started it. And I'm sort of going, yeah. What the hell was it you wanted?
It automatically goes out. It goes on the back burner as soon as someone says there's not a rush.
I started to keep a spreadsheet of all these things that people wanted. And then I reorganized my computer and I can't find a spreadsheet. I've got something back here that someone asked me to do, and it's nearly finished, but I can't remember who the heck it was for. Yeah, I don't even know how long I've had it. So if you know someone who's going, that idiot in England who does those kits, he's just so totally unreliable. That'll be me. But just picking up on a point I heard earlier, you mentioned that Hellcat kit. What did you say? It was 120?
Yeah.
If you're interested, Jadlam are doing it for 107 if you put a pre-order in now.
Not bad, yeah.
So I hadn't heard of it because I didn't go to Telford, obviously, but I just had a quick look at it. And it looks quite good, doesn't it?
That's not really. That's not an exaggeration, anyway. So
the surface detail on it is exquisite. I mean, I had a good look at it, and the stressed skin effect is just perfect.
It's got that pillowing effect, hasn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I must look away from the model.
Put your credit card down and step away from the model.
I am in serious danger of walking into the territory that exists in the cycling world, in that your bikes are always, the number of bikes that you own should always equal n equals n plus 1. In other words, you're always one short of the total number. And I'm afraid the problem is that is equally true for models. I've got a very small stash behind me, and it's likely to stay a stash the way things are going. I really, really must stay. Oh, God, this is ridiculous. Sorry, guys, but just as I'm talking about bikes, I've just had an email message coming up saying, Evan Cycles, have you thought about the new year? Will you go away? All I need is for Jadlam models to be starting sending me emails now. But, yeah, anyway. Long story short, nothing done, nothing going to be done for a while. I'll sit back and admire you guys that seem to be machines.
Yeah, I'm showing the. Oh yeah.
That's there, next page with the pictures of the kit. You can see the sort of level of.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so.
And that's that they, as you can see, the rippling of the skin is actually in the molding. That's
what Airfix have done. They have done with quite a few of their models recently. They did it with the 24 scale Typhoon. Was that they laser scanned the outside of the real thing.
Yeah.
And every ripple, every dent, every busted rivet, and at least 24 scale was reproduced.
Better hope they found a good example then.
Wow. Oh, you can see the detail. It's just insane.
Wow. Yeah. I wouldn't buy anything like that. I just couldn't justify it because I don't have the skills to I would look at it and I would always be disappointed at my attempts. A model like that deserves time and effort.
What scale is that?
124. It's big.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Typhoon, it's most of the year to build. On and off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the engine alone took at least a couple of months. Right, but I'm talking about at the rate I build at, which makes a glacier look
okay.
Speedy.
Speedy, yeah.
It's putting all this detail into a kit, though, rather than removing a bit of the skill of the modeler. He said, hopefully.
It's a challenge.
Yeah. I think Lou could knock one of these out inside a fortnight or 2 weeks.
Right.
If he took an interest in airplanes.
Well, that's only because I know nothing about airplanes and I wouldn't be obsessing over every little detail.
I mean, a fortnight for Randall is like 2 years for the rest of us. So, but It would take that long before I dare to actually cut the tape on the box.
I unfortunately have to leave you guys, and I've an hour appointment to go to. But I shall enjoy seeing the rest of the hangout when you sort of continue on. And I hope Brian can finally speak. Can he speak?
We'll see.
I don't know.
Brian, can you say something?
Yes, we heard you.
Yeah, we have sound.
We have sound.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know.
So, sorry to
I
say
was trying to use my Amazon tablet, and for some reason, the mic works to make a video, but it doesn't work in the Hangout.
Yeah,
I think I know why.
So I had to plug in the.
I think I know why. Some systems can't handle feedback, so it just cuts out the mic.
Right.
Could be. I talked to him, said, well, anything that is so it won't work. I was like, yeah. I had one other Hangout. If you remember, I went the whole time going from the laptop, and my laptop, like the other day, is old.
So,
and when I'm watching, you can say something, then about a minute later, I actually get the video to go with it.
Yeah.
So it's what it is.
Yeah, it's the processor not working fast enough is what it is. We'll see you later, Liam.
I will see you next weekend. I shall be there at some stage.
Okay, some stage next weekend between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. Well, that would be like Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon for you. Okay.
With lubrication. Chat later.
Yeah. See ya.
Cheers, man.
Okay.
Now he is one person I like to see. Three sheets to the wind. See how he would obsess over his costumes. Are you good there? Yeah. You got anything more to add?
Sorry, Jack, I didn't catch you. You were saying if you're talking to me, yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, you are. Okay. Well, yeah, I've just clicked onto your image, and I'm just marveling at the mess behind you.
I want to point the camera.
Because I'm working on mine still. I mean, you're not seeing what's down below the camera. I mean, I don't have much leg room. That's going to change because this coming week I have off from work.
Yeah, it just gets worse the further I go around.
How long did it take you to get into that room where you're sitting?
Well, it was a bit like Indiana Jones, I must admit. I'm not sure that something's not living there. But,
well, at least you don't have a stone rolling behind you.
Not yet. Something
all right. Thanks, Bernie. It's good to see you. It really is. It's very agreeable to see you. Okay. All right, Brian. You can start talking if you can still get the mic to work. What are you doing? What are you working on?
I'm working on that Mongoose funny car. I'll show you what I did with the engine last night.
Yeah. Please show us and get us away from Star Trek.
I don't know how it.
Ooh.
It's a lot of work, a lot of time. But I read an article the other day on the funny cars and how they need more details because the body opens up, so you need to detail it more instead of having nothing. And that got me started on that, and that's all that wiring. Some of it's mandolin wire, the 026 mandolin wire. Some of it's the 046 for the oil lines, and the rest of it is just florist wire. But a lot of work on that one.
Yeah, I have the Jungle Jimba funny car. Really, I want to put a lot of effort into that. I when I was a kid, I put a couple of them together, and I just like the fact that it doesn't look like what it looks like from the outside, if that makes any sense. It looks more like a dragster when the body's not on it.
Yeah. I had a lot of trouble finding reference pictures for this. Your audio's gone, Jack. Looked like you were saying something.
No, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can. Looked like you were saying something, but I just wasn't hearing anything.
No, it's just a delay in my video, so it's me, not you. It's me, not you. Have you ever heard that before?
Synchronized, Jack.
No, they always say
I
it's
just don't want to seem like I'm walking over somebody.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get some more modelers to do a funny car build. We haven't really, you know what, during the 48-hour hangout, we should decide what we're going to do as community builds next year. Haven't really decided on anything, so maybe you should put in a word for cars.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I get.
Would that be it there, Brian?
Yeah, for now.
Oh, okay. Well, it's really nice to see you trying to make it on, and you made it on finally. You really worked with it, and we hope to see you more later as time goes on. Do you think you'll hang out with us on a 48-hour hangout?
That's exactly what this test was for, to see what worked and what didn't, and where I had to get the camera set up and all that, because of my limited space of what I have around me. It was difficult finding a place, but it seems like it works all right, so I'm planning on it.
All right, cool.
Of course, my wife thinks I'm nuts, thinks 48 hours building a model is kind of crazy, but whatever.
Well, I don't know what she does, but you can compare something like that she does. You know what? I just want to make mention, though, Randall, of course, you're not going to do this, but Randall mentioned his wife's age on the internet. That was several minutes ago. It was about an hour ago. He said that.
I never actually mentioned the figure. It was Liam said that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, somebody said your wife's age, and I hope your wife doesn't do this in replay.
Might not see him again.
Yeah,
Well, we will, and he'll become a part of that room in a very genius way, I think. And a cat will be feeding off of him.
Lock me in it. Just lock me in it and grant me the occasional restroom privilege.
Don't fantasize, Randall, please.
There may be rolling pins and or frying pans involved.
Yeah, I don't have, like I said, I'm not doing much in building. I pulled a few kits. I was going to do the space shuttle, but I realized that I have to go downstairs to the basement and unbury my paint booth. So I think plastic models are kind of, I don't know. I got this house is so turned upside down because of that damn kitchen, and we had a contractor come in to look at what the other contractor did. He's just shaking his head through the whole tour. So I have the coming week off, so I'm going to get a lot done up here. Clean it up a little bit, clean it up downstairs, so maybe I can work on a plastic kit. But my biggest ambition right now, I got a question for you guys, and I bought this gaming chair.
Yeah.
It came with arms, but I didn't put it on. Should I leave them off or put them on?
Depends on your own personal. Myself, I like arms, but that's personal preference. Just space them out to what you find comfortable, because I find it's kind of nice to rest your arms on something sometimes. So.
I don't have the space for arms on my chair.
I love my arms on my chair.
Yeah.
It's funny you should say that, because when I had the other chair, the one that broke underneath my tonnage, I didn't have arms before. I had an IKEA chair that had no arms, and when I got that chair and it had arms, I found them in the way. But this, if I'm going to be laying back and sleeping during a 48-hour hangout like this, I might want to do something with my arms.
You might want to have your arms on her just to keep you from sliding out the front.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the seat has like these lips on the side, so I can't slide laterally off the chair. Because if I'm playing a game, I can do this and I won't fall off the chair.
Can you fit a safety belt?
I was going to say, isn't that a constitutional thing, Jack? Every man should have the right to right to chair arms.
Yeah. He has the right to them. He doesn't have the obligation to it.
That's
Oh,
right.
This is
I have a
true.
right to my armchair or chair arms or whatever. You know what? I have to admit, I didn't put them on. Maybe I'll put them on to try it out, but I have a feeling I'm not going to want them. This was a $250 chair.
Then I would use every bit of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How close do you like your chair to your workbench, Jack?
What's that?
How close do you want the chair to the workbench? Are you going to be want to tuck yourself underneath it? You know, is the arms going to ride up over the top?
It's funny you should say that. You should say that. The biggest complaint I had with the other chair, particularly when I was modeling and I was scooching up really close to the workbench, the arms got in the way. But the arms on the other chair came down like this in the front, right? But these are just sticking up on a post.
Yeah, I think for a lot of the newer office chairs, I know this one and my new chair, the arms are shorter. They go walk way back. That's to get around that issue of running into the desk.
Yeah.
So the arms are a lot shorter.
Depends if you want to keep yourself at arm's length from your work.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too, I found I'm able to actually push my chair underneath. So this is a tiny room, you know, and if I want to move about, I need to. Before I had to pull the chair out of the room to move about and clean up.
I'll just.
The more you know.
So I had to pull the chair out to clean up in here. This way, this chair does go underneath my workbench, which is really nice without the arms.
Without the arms. Well, if you want to get that close, your arms might be in the way. Do they adjust up and down?
Yeah, they do. They attach to the bottom of the chair, and they got a little latch that make it go up and down.
Well, you might try it out and see whether you might just push them down when you're not using when you don't want them, and then pull them up when you want to rest.
If they were shorter, maybe just a few inches, couple of inches off the seat, but I think they come up higher. Anyway, I'll look into that for sure. But yeah, I mean, I have to say though,
give it a try. What have you got to lose?
Right, that's true. The biggest thing about my chair, and I don't know about you other modelers, though, the other chair, my IKEA chair that I had a while ago, I had a mesh back. Let me pull this up a little bit.
Yeah.
It has a pillow, too. This has a pillow. It has a mesh back.
Weird handles on the side.
I don't know what the handles are for.
Is that just style, or are there speakers built into them, or what?
No, there are no speakers in them. There's just like a handle. That's what Matt said. Are they speakers? I'm like, well, you know something?
Well, it's based on a race car chair.
Yeah, it's just affectation.
It would be where your seatbelt comes through.
Yeah. Yeah. It's affectation at this point.
Yeah.
Well, you know something though. It wouldn't. If you really wanted to, you could probably mount something in here for speakers.
Yeah. Or you could put seatbelts in if you're really doing some intensive modeling. I'm working so hard, I need to be strapped down.
But I'm saying the mesh back will be good for the summertime because I won't be going like tape pulling off of a smooth surface in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it breathes on the back. That's why I bought this one. The lip on the other side of the seat is kind of something to get used to, but it sort of cradles my fat ass. So nothing's better than having your fat ass cradled. Anyway, I'm going to be working on something. I talked to Lou about scratch building. It's not his cup of tea, although he does amazing work in modifying, and just watch his videos. He does amazing work on that. Right, Lou?
Well, thank you for that.
And also, so I'm going to try my hand at scratch building, and this is what I'm thinking of doing. Can you see that?
But even that, Jack, has, well, okay. Oh, yeah, you're building the areas from Axonar.
Yep.
I thought you wanted to get away from all of the Star Trek talk.
Well, this isn't Star Trek. This isn't canon, you know.
Oh, I know very well it's not canon. I know very well it's not canon.
Yeah, I want to get away. I'm going to do that in my airplane. My wood build.
I thought that's what you were going to bring up with the plans for your airplane.
Well,
because that's not really scratch building because you've got plans.
Oh, you mean this? Oh, you mean that?
Well, no, I mean the plane.
Well, the plane. This is instructions.
Right, but I mean, to me, scratch building is something that has no instructions. You're just sitting there sculpting stuff. That to me is scratch building. You're building from plans. I mean, you still have to make the parts, but you're building from plans.
Oh, that's upside down.
I know.
This is the instructions.
Yeah. But it tells you what size to make all the pieces.
Well, a lot of the pieces are already formed.
That's not really scratch building.
This is a parts sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it laser cut?
Looks like. I think so. And this is the.
Wow.
And I did cut. Is it this part? This is the underside of the fuselage.
Yeah.
Cut that out. And this is the top side of the fuselage. But the problem is, this broke off.
Oh.
That's not a big issue.
And that little slot there's a hold destabilizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, just glue it back on. That's all.
Well,
That happens.
yeah, I mean, if you're pinning it down to a piece of like ceiling tile, like you said, that would be the way to go about doing it. And in fact, there's a rib that covers this, so the rib will hold it into place.
Yeah, that happens sometimes because they try to make the cuts cross grain, but if it's with the grain, that's where it's going to split. And
well,
it does
happen. It's
that piece there.
There's the instructions right there. You can see this is actually to scale. This drawing.
That's right. 1-to-1. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could see that slot is in a precarious position.
Yeah. Well, you build it on top of the plans. You actually pin the part to the top of the plans.
Yeah.
That's the way you assemble it.
Like a transparent layer, like cling film over the top of the plan to save it, and then pin through.
Yeah.
Which I used to build quite a few wooden planes, and I used to photocopy the plans, being careful to make sure that you didn't get any distortion, obviously, and then get a board, pin it down, and then cling film over the top. Then you know everything's lined up.
Yeah, well, that's what you do. You build under. That's what we were talking to him earlier. We go out to the hardware store and get a ceiling tile.
Yeah,
because they're cheap. And if you gotta buy a package of straight pins.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'll go. That's what I'm going to do on the 48-hour hangout is work with that. Get myself set up for that, and if I get bored, I'll draw some. I had my dimensions already somewhere. I got to find my dimensions for the Axonar thing, and I have to admit, and I titled this one as competitive scale modeling. This episode. Because I was going through some of the videos from other people as well as the amazing scale modelers when I went to Wonderfest. And Matt even encouraged me, and I think you guys at some point encouraged me to put in an entry. Just put one in. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, the only luck I've ever had, and I don't want to, and as I said, it's getting away from Star Trek. I'm going to go back to Star Trek. I'm actually thinking perhaps the Katinga will be my better option than an Enterprise. So I'm actually, this thing that I've had. I mean, I've built or tried to build the Enterprise 3 times. It's never worked. But the first time I did a Katinga kit, which is the old AMT kit, it's worked out quite well. Although I used a very different color
palette.
It was black and gray, and it was.
A lot of the problem with building Federation ships is you got to keep them clean.
Well, you got to keep them clean, but I think it's kind of like on the Klingon side. The Klingon houses, there's different houses, different clans, and
there's more room. There's more room for interpretation. Yeah,
there's more room interpretation, and I felt that the interpretation I was going for is a clandestine clan, and being all black and very subdued in space, it'll be hard to see. And it's really
there's no honor in sneaking around.
Well, maybe. Well, maybe. We know the Romulans have used their ships, so
that's the way you go. You say, okay, this was a captured ship that was repurposed by the Romulans.
Yeah.
Ooh, the plot thickens. I like it. So I'm thinking that when I saw the Katinga kit at Wonderfest, I was blown away with the detail, totally blown away. And I sure hope that translates when my kit arrives. Because
they're all going to be great except yours. They've changed the model for one person.
You know what? Yeah, probably. But I have had luck with. I've done many Klingon ships. I've done the D7 and the Katinga, and I've always had luck with those, and even lighted them too. So I've always had luck. But the Enterprise, I don't know. I gotta work through that. I wonder if there's anybody out there who has a kit. Well, there was one kit that Carwin had. He was trying to do the next gen, the Enterprise D, and he did like. I don't know, Carwin, let us know. 10 incarnations before you got it? How much is the Katinga kit in the UK? Yeah, it's probably about 300 pounds, probably. That's 200 or 300 pounds of gorilla. I don't know.
30. It's about 130 pounds.
Yeah, he did 11 incarnations of that.
Wow.
Before he got it right. He bought a lot of those kits. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It just seems like that seems to be my thing. But long and short of it, that's pretty much where I'm at. I am getting around to making use of this wonderful workspace that I've created myself. And believe me, it is wonderful. So that's me. That's all I got. Has anybody got anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
G is my nemesis. Yeah. Yeah, well, you gotta make a nemesis too. Thinking about that. So let's see what's going on over at the live chat. I'd like to thank everybody there. John Hunt. I didn't see Mr. Mini Dreams today, so I'm sorry I didn't see him. Carwin joined us. Phil also chimed in every now and again too. Mark Dunmore did show up, and Dirk as well. Thank you, both of you. And to who else? You know what, Carwin? There it is. John Hunt for watching us, Adonis's. Yeah, and also there was a new guy too that chimed in. Where is he? Sinawad? Sinawad? I don't know. He wanted to join, but our link is on our community. So if you're watching this in rerun or live and you want to join, it's the link is always posted on the Google Plus, Facebook communities, and now MeWe. So I will post the link every time we have a live broadcast. And in fact, the 48-hour Hangout will be linked there as well. So that is starting Friday, 8 a.m. my time. That's Eastern. So that's right about noon time in the UK on Friday. And Australia, I think it's in the middle of the night. I think so. I think it's like he says, he being Heath says it's about 11 at night. So, yeah, join us, and we're just going to hang out and chit-chat and have a few meals, share a few meals, and a few laughs and drinks, as well as build some models. And that's going to be a good time. And Jim and I will try to keep it anchored as well as we can. and I get to watch James go get coffee for 6 hours, and you'll probably see my nose hairs leaning back on my new chair. I can't wait. And I'd like to thank who showed up. Liam showed up. Also, Brian showed up. Thank you for stopping by and giving us your words or two. And Bernie, like I said, it's nice seeing you. I like your icon. It's my namesake there.
Which one are we looking at? The Google icon?
Yes. Yes, the jackass. Yes.
Yeah.
My namesake. Yes. Thank you for stopping by and saying that you're well. And also, I hope you get out of that room at some point to get a meal.
Well, it's still daylight, so I don't.
You'll just what is it? You'll camp if you can't reach it in daylight or something.
Well, I was thinking more that I might just sort of shrivel up and.
Oh, what a way to die! Really. Thank you, James, for stopping by. We'll see you probably during the week, and especially before or after Thanksgiving and before the Hangout for 48 hours. So, Lou, I hope you get to stop by too.
I will not. I'm sorry. I'm out of town for that whole weekend.
No kidding. Where are you going?
I'm up in your neck of the woods.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're from this area. What Oil City?
Originally, but I've got a high school reunion on Friday night.
Are you serious? On Black Friday?
Black Friday.
Well, your classmates have an interesting way of timing things. They figure that everybody's going to be in town for family. Might as well.
That's the way they think of it, except for everybody who's out of town with their families.
That's true. I mean, do you have family still up there?
Down below you. My brother still lives in Pittsburgh, and I have a sister that is down east of Pittsburgh, down west of Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. That's like in Fayette or Fayette County?
I don't know the counties.
Oh, okay. You don't know. It's been that long, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
I never learned the counties when I was there. Allegheny, Butler, Venango. Those are the three counties I know.
Well, that's going between Pittsburgh and where you were from.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Well, you know what? Still, I hope you are even to text us to say if we're still alive.
If I'm around a computer that I can log into, then perhaps I may, or even, God help me, try to do something on that wind-up telephone that I've got.
Okay. Very good. Very good, Lou. And we'll see you in 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks. Yeah, sure.
All right. Very good. All right, Phil, thank you for stopping by. You sound better.
Yeah. Fred's a lot better.
And gotten over the cold you had.
Yep.
As he clears his throat. Beware of the evil panda. And thank you, Randall, for stopping by too and being so patient as you usually are. And every time I see a cornball meme, I think of you and I will post it to your timeline. And we'll see everybody in 2 weeks for Broadcast Hangout. That would make it the 30th. No, that's already freaking December 1st for Across the Pond, and then the 2nd for Sunday Hangout. We'll see you in 2 days. Actually 48 hours from 36 hours from now for Sunday Hangout. And until then, happy modeling, everyone.
Happy modeling.